it's like the first time in a long time that I've actually been forced to just like sit with myself and go back to old like hobbies and stuff that I used to enjoy. It's just interesting how it's like forced me to step outside of the world of work.
Is there anything you're kind of acutely worried about with yourself, your students, your work?
When I think about the students, I worry about this impacting. I especially worry about our seniors and like what this means for their transition to college.
Right.
Um, you know, given that this is like really their senior year is really important. It's really important. I think even just living in particularly low income communities, like this is the time where we really focus on building the skill to step outside of home. And they're just like very unique skills that are focused on in the last few months of their senior year around what does it look like to be able to like budget when you're in college and be ready for all those things. And I think them not really having access to focus on that and even just like celebrate their graduation is hard.
Yeah.
So that's worrying.
But when this is over and completely done with, do you think that there's any way that this will have a lasting impact on like how we interact, how what our workflow is like, anything like that?
What do you think?
I think that it's going to be a real one. Income inequality is going to get a lot worse because people are literally going to be out of their work, or they're going to, like, the bread maker of the house is now being put at risk for working, and so that person could pass away. They could be they could get really sick, and then you have all these hospital costs. I think this is going to be a real rupture of like a lot of like working class families, and it's really going to screw them up. And that's actually so upsetting. And for people to be talking about this time as like, I'm going to rejuvenate myself and my practices of whatever, is like actually so offensive, because you're not taking into consideration all these other people that are dealing with all of these things, and they're already living barely paycheck to paycheck, if at all. And then now they're being forced even more into that. And so for me, like, yeah, you're sitting at home and you're able to deliver food, but who's cooking the food? Who's delivering the food? Who's picking the fruit? Who's picking the vegetables? Who's taking care of these animals? Who's milking the
Right.
cows? Who's picking the chickens? Like, these things are so important to be thinking about. And those people are even higher risk. So like, to be thinking about like what's happening to this entire sector of like the US especially, is actually really scary. What's going to happen to all of those families and all of those people, and how many more people are going to be pushed into homelessness. And I don't know, it's like, it's terrifying. And it's
Yeah.
upsetting that people aren't more enraged, and that
Okay.
people aren't like being radicalized about it, and people aren't pushing the government to do better, and people aren't like voting for the right people. Like, even the stupidest thing is voting. They won't even vote for the right people that are actually calling for better things, like Medicaid for all, and like basic incomes and whatnot. The government is gaining a lot of power to do whatever they want. They're bailing out the upper classes and not the lower classes. Like, they're talking about this airline bailout. They already tried bailing out the stock market. Like, why don't you bail out the people who are like actually going to starve from all of this?
I am just curious to know if this will or has radicalized anybody any more than, I don't know. I would be curious to know, like, I don't know what people's thoughts are in general, but I would be very interested. Like, people are getting fucked over who generally have some levels of privilege, and so they're kind of choose to turn a blind eye to certain
Yeah.
things. But at the end of the day, when they're realizing, like, oh no, when like shit hits the fan, capitalism doesn't do me any favors. I am very interested to see if those people do end up leaning a lot more to the
Yeah.
left. You got any departing wisdom, Rash?
I think if you have money, you should be giving away money. You should be tipping people really well. You should be going out and buying food for people. Like, it's our responsibility as like the people who are able-bodied and have some sort of income still during this time to actually spread that wealth. If the government isn't going to do it, and if our parties aren't going to do it, and our social welfare services aren't going to do it, then we should be doing that for each other.